So up to this point, we've only fought maybe a couple of enemies at a time. This time, however, it's going to be a little different.
This coin probably found its way into Japanese circulation sometime in the mid-19th century.
I wonder if we can use that money to trade in for some real money.
Get that damn gun off me!
Is a bow better? And this right here is a great example of why I love the bow in this game. It's like the best sniping stealth weapon you could imagine. It's not so great in really hectic combat. You really want the guns for that, but when you're doing sneaking around parts like this, it's pretty beautiful. But there's a giant spotlight that we want to avoid, or we are going to get a load of shit from everybody. Thankfully though, it just goes around in the same circular path, so it's pretty easy to avoid. Cutting it a little close there. And though I could be aiming for the body shots on a stealth kill because they don't know where I am yet, it's a lot safer to just practice your headshots now. They'll come in quite handy later. But we want to be very careful here because this guy, yeah, he could have alerted really everybody had we missed or given him the time to turn around.
Period coin minted in the late 17th century. It could have come from any number of old wrecks on this island.
And I know it's a lot smaller than it appears on screen, but I'd just like to imagine she's got two giant gold, bronze, whatever coins just lugging around in her pockets. We're almost done with this little section here, but we don't want to alert the guys that are right up here. We need to wait for one of them to separate, or if we kill one, the other one will freak out. And just like that, we're good.
This bunker, World War II era, probably Japanese.
Well, either way, after this little map check to make sure I have everything for this area, we'll be going right in.
It's freezing.
You okay? Fine. Just do the job. How many came in from the new wreck? Couple dozen. Matthias brought one in himself. For the ritual? Probably. We'll find out tonight.
For better or worse, I now follow Father Matthias. If I'm gonna be stuck on his island, at least I have the best possible job. He calls me his first Solari. Matthias might be insane, but he's smart and dangerous. He knows things about this island. I believe is our only chance of ever getting out of here. Matthias keeps us happy. We control the guns and the food. Anything the storm brings to this island is ours, and we decide the fate of any new survivors. Any who defy us are killed. We are masters of this fucked up prison.
So it is starting to sound like the people that are following Matthias are just doing so they don't get killed. Also, that just reeks of ominous gas, so we're going to want to turn that off first. Kind of makes you wonder if those valves actually control poison gas for this whole bunker or what.
Careful! It's loaded with fuel!
No shit.
What do they need it for?
Generator, probably. For the tower.
How the hell are we gonna get it up the stairs?
Good question.
Let's just leave it here for now. We can get some of the others up front to help us out.
Fine with me. Let's go.
Actually, you can stay. Well, that got fucked up. Either way, they're down a long hallway, and everybody in the bunker gets alerted whether or not you kill these two guys at the explosion, because, well, you just made an explosion. Fortunately, though, only about 4 guys come, even though there are plenty left in this bunker, but we won't be seeing them for a little bit yet. As always, trying to get as much scrap as we can so we can upgrade everything. But now that all those guys are dead, we can light this torch safely and use it. Because in this bunker, the collectible is to burn all of these posters. I'm guessing he didn't make the entrance he thought he was going to. Either way, it works for us. So we have a bunch of these lanterns that we can't really use to light our torches, so we'll just throw them around and burn stuff for us.
There's nowhere to run, outsider!
What the hell?
I'm gonna watch you die now.
Well, you're gonna have to do it from all the way back there, because we're not sticking around. But not only is this gas rather poisonous and deadly, it's also quite flammable.
Hey! What are you...
Quite flammable. Sounds like he didn't make it out too well.
Just please.
Go to hell.
Expedition Field Report. Despite loss of 2 cargo ships to intense storms, the expedition has made landfall. We've established a communications center high in the mountains, and coastal base construction has commenced. Initial surveys have revealed several possible excavation sites. The island is much larger than we originally anticipated, and layered with many centuries of history. The task of identifying the source of the storms will be long and arduous. But if we succeed in our mission here, our victory in this war will be certain.
How odd that that old-time Nazi sounded just like the medic from TF2. Surely just a coincidence though, right?
Now! Light her up! Ah! You're
So the slowdown there doesn't last forever, and it is a good idea to find some cover, because if you just wait out in the open, they will come right to you. And though it's not a good priority to shoot those searchlights at the beginning, you definitely want them off you by the end. So we're almost clear of them, just a few left to wrangle up, and that one guy sniping us from the back. So, for as many enemies as this game ever gives you, they all are lootable, so we pretty much get our ammo back and then some.
Father Matthias will set us free. From what? This island?
Well, if you read the message right below that, it kind of says there are demons, so they're all crazy. We are getting through here pretty quickly, not running into a whole lot of resistance, although we're running into a whole lot of guys. Nothing like a campfire to rest at, though. And it looks like someone was keeping track of a probably recent plane crash. Though I wouldn't want to be a survivor on this sort of fucked up island. But we do have a few things that we can upgrade. Kind of want to get our brawler up, so in case we ever get into close combat again, we won't have to worry too much. Though it's never really too much of an issue. We also have quite a bit we can upgrade, especially now that we got a machine gun, but we're going to hold off on that for too much, because I don't like to use it when the pistol is more than enough for what we need right now. Okay, these ambushes are not working out for them. They really need to figure out a better way to, maybe try to sneak up on us? Because kicking the vents open sure isn't subtle. What is subtle, however, is where they placed one of these posters. Because we need to go back all the way to the room where we blew up the gas. So once we take this torch all the way back through here, we can burn this poster. And as you can tell by the fact that we are closing in on all of the collectibles here, we're pretty much right at the end of this bunker. Not too long. But that doesn't mean we're at the tower just yet. Now we want to burn this right now because we're about to enter a cutscene and that takes away the torch. So let's get this over with.
Alex, are you there?
Yeah.
The console's a wreck.
Damn it. Well, unless you see a Radio Shack around, you're gonna have to patch it manually through the maintenance panel.
Okay, that sounds simple enough.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to find it first. On those old towers, they installed those panels high up. I mean, way high up.
climbing again. Great.
Okay, who the shit thought it was a good idea to put the manual override all the way up there?
I am alone now. The rest of them are dead. This is for the best. I watched from the cliffs as their makeshift boat was tossed and turned by the storms. The clouds looked like a hand upon the water, desperately clawing at their doomed boat. None survived the wrath of the storm. I observed it carefully. The storm was localized and sudden. And just as suddenly, it was gone. And this is the most interesting detail. It didn't seem random. I sensed emotion, something deliberate. I don't know what's happening on this island. Not yet. But if I ever hope to escape, I must understand this phenomenon. Now my real work begins.
Well, it is starting to sound like Matthias has been noticing his own sort of crazy on this island. Doesn't mean he's not crazy himself, though. Now, this little section in here is a bit of like a guided cutscene in that you just need to hold forward to move through.
That tower better work after all this.
And this steam sort of looks like it's hurting Lara, but it's actually just part of the whole section. This is a pretty weird way to exit a bunker, though.
Snow. This isn't normal.
The good news is that we are now within striking distance of that tower, so not a whole lot left to go. We've covered a lot of ground in this section, but we're still not there yet. So it looks like all we can really do is just take a rest at this camp and try to tackle this section coming up. I mean, it's going to be heavy with combat, but what hasn't been this time around?